Oh, yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends large, gigantic figure, M.O.D.O.K. Now, I know that this toy came out a while ago now, but I wasn't collecting at the time, so I had passed up on him. In hindsight, I wish I hadn't, because even though I managed to find this guy on sale, it wasn't nearly as good as the clearance Target was putting him under. But I still got him for, a fair amount off. And, he's a big figure. I just really wanted to review him for you guys because I'm frankly eager to open it up and play with it. So, if you've seen my reviews before, you know this goes. We're going to take a look at M.O.D.O.K's packaging, then we'll open it up. We'll see M.O.D.O.K himself, we'll check out all his different accessories, his posability, all that. Naturally, I'll be doing some group shots and comparisons today, and then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So M.O.D.O.K comes in this very, very large box, though it is actually rather flat, so it's more long than anything. You get this just super up-close picture of M.O.D.O.K just staring you down angrily and calling for your demise. Fun little bit of trivia for anyone who's not aware. The acronym of M.O.D.O.K actually stands for Mental Organism Designed Only to Kill. So, in case you're wondering what that meant. And a little bit of backstory, he was a guy that was experimented on by AIM to become this, perfect super computer, super weapon thing, which caused him to have massive intelligence and made his head absolutely huge, but also, made his body shrink and kind of wither away, which is why he's always in his little mechanical chair. And why he always looks very, very angry. So, very odd-looking character, but he is one of the most famous Marvel villains out there, so it is very cool that we're getting a proper figure of him. You can see on the top, we have a little symbol of M.O.D.O.K's ugly mug. And then on the side, we get this nice artwork of M.O.D.O.K, done up in very comic book style. You can see he's firing a laser blast from his little headband there. This side is just the same thing. And then on the back, we get CGI renders of M.O.D.O.K. And you can see they show off his height, 8.47 inches or 21.5 centimeters. They show off an alternate face for him with a closed mouth. They show off his little fire blast effect that causes his chair to levitate. And then even has optional hands here. So you can see he's got an open hand, which goes right here. And then they also show off the fact that his joystick can move around. So he isn't the most complex thing out there, but they have to work with the design of the character, who's, more or less stationary. So he does have a fair amount of, parts and articulation when you consider that. Plus, he's very, very large. Now, in addition to the renders, we also get a nice bit of flavor text here. It says, the freak product of intense scientific experimentation, the living computer M.O.D.O.K now sits atop a vast empire of criminal co-conspirators bent on world domination. So it's a nice little overview of, kind of his history and his whole MO. And in, I think, most continuities, he ends up becoming the de facto leader of the AIM organization, which works out because I also happen to obtain that 2-pack of the AIM Scientist and Trooper, who I'll review sometime after this. So I look forward to, really nice group shots with him and those two. That single pack AIM Trooper from Hasbro Pulse has already been sold out for a while. I don't know if it's coming back. And I also don't know if it's really any different than the parts that come in that 2-pack. I'm not really sure. If it is, I'll try to get a hold of it as something, different. But if it's just some combination of the parts included in that, I don't really feel a need to pick it up. We'll see what happens. I'm not real big on army building because, I gotta budget somewhere, right? And buying a bunch of one figure is really just blowing that out of the water. Now, I wasn't planning on doing any sort of unboxing or assembly segment for this video, but then I opened the box and I found out that this guy comes completely disassembled. Or almost completely. So, I guess I should have seen that coming. The box was probably way too thin for the assembled figure, but still kind of cool. He's basically a self-contained Build-A-Figure. So that's an interesting little twist. So yeah, here's the front part of him. Got his face, and a piece of paper under his chin for some reason. How's the face guy? Ooh, that's creepy. So just plugged right in like that. Here's the other face. Here's the back. Here's the other face. A super angry face. Here is the top part of his little fire blast effect thing. Is that taped on there? Rude. Unnecessary. That's what that is. Alright. Just gotta pull these out. I'm not gonna mess with the tape. So you got his little legs. You got the bottom part of the fire blast assembly. So you can just kind of plug that on there, I guess. It can rotate. you get the bottom part of his little seat, you get his hairpiece, and those two alternate hands, which are, you got one that's just a closed fist, and then one that's partially open to grab the joystick here. I'll go ahead and take those out in the next shot. So let's just go ahead and kind of assemble the basic thing here. Interestingly, there are no assembly instructions at all for this, so you really just gotta figure it out. But having a rather extensive history with model kits, Legos, all that. Let's see. Yeah, fix elbows here. Like this. Okay, so you get that. Give him the angry face. He looks like he's complaining or yelling about something. Ah! How could you fail me? Alright, this part slides in here like so. I wonder, is there like a storage? The extra face? There isn't, is there? That's a shame. Would have been pretty cool if there was. You just push this together. I guess nothing really locks in per se. I mean, it holds in there well enough, but I guarantee if you drop him, he's going to fall apart. But that might be, you know what? I think I got to put the hairpiece in first before I close this. Because there's a rim right here, so you just plug it in like so. Then push everything together. Let's see. Something's getting caught. What is getting caught here? Is this sitting too low? No, I don't think it is. Hold on. What is the issue? Went in fine the first time, now it doesn't want to go in. Let's see here. I'm gonna figure this out, guys. I'm gonna figure it out. Okay, I guess that just... Oh, I see. This is getting caught on like his headband, so you gotta give yourself some clearance. It doesn't really want to play ball, does it? Oh, and I'm really stressing the plastic. Jeez, come on now. Come on now. You know what? I guess I should put the front in first, huh? Put it... Okay, let's do it like that. Boy, I really regret that. Can you see that stress mark? Breaking my toy already. Unacceptable. Okay, so, well... all my years of playing with Legos wasted. Alright, and you just pop this on. Okay, well, that's... that could have gone better, but... Alright. Can we tell which leg is what? Are these identical? Look like they might be identical. I can tell by his feet. Aha! He's got shoes that are asymmetrical. Well, or no, they're symmetrical, not identical. Words are hard. Is that on there right? Yeah, I guess that's on there. This one on there too. There. That one popped in. This one didn't really pop in, but I guess it's there. Alright. So he has little feet. It's funny how his legs are like fully articulated, but they can't actually touch the ground. Just dangle helplessly. Ball jointed joystick. And then he just popped this into a giant ball socket. Boom! Look at that. Alright. Fully assembled. That was a bit of an unexpected experience, but I'll take it. Looks pretty good if you ask me. Let me go ahead and go to the next shot so I can get his hands and all that out. Alright, so we have our M.O.D.O.K fully assembled, and we can check out his posability now. He has a little bit of a soft ratchet here at the base, so you can rotate him around without the bottom part of the base having to move. Which, I mean, I guess is kind of useful, though it's just as easy to do this, so I don't know. Works. He does have a slightly hard time balancing. He's a little front heavy, so if you kind of bump him too much, he might want to fall forward. Just be aware of that. Probably a way, I bet this part of the base seems a little longer than the other, so if you keep it about that, it should help hold him up better. Right now, for his posability, he's got a lot. So he's got universal shoulders, those little sockets there. He doesn't have a bicep swivel, but the shoulders, you know, just kind of allow him to do this. He has single bend elbows. He does have an elbow swivel, though it's not the most useful thing. And he's got universal wrists. Spin around, swing back and forth. He's got the universal hips there. Well, I guess they're really more ball joints than universals. Yeah, they're ball joints. Take that back. He does have double bend knees, which again is funny because, I mean, he can't stand. But he has double bend knees. And then he has ankle rock on a ratchet, ankle rotation. And that's it as far as, well, no, take that back. Ball jointed joystick. Then that's it as far as articulation, which again, he's a floating head guy with little limbs. Like, Doesn't need to move all that much. But he does need to look cool, and I think he does that swimmingly. Try to balance him as best I can. And I love the sculpted detailing of his face. This looks like a very high-end figure. And the paint wash on it, everything, like, that's probably where a good chunk of the budget went, is just the face right there, because it's so realistic looking. It really is. Which is interesting, because he is a comic book character, right? You think he'd look more like just inks and colors, but yeah, no, very realistic looking face, which of course can be swapped out. So all you do, you just pull it out like so. Put the other one in. It's more of a, I don't know, calm but still angry face. And then we have our two new hands. Take this open hand out. Put the fist in. If you just snickered, shame on you. Alright, then we open this hand. Put his object holding hand in here. And now, I find the best way to get this joystick in is to bring it in kind of at this angle and then rotate it into the hand. And this does make me a little nervous because it's on that ball joint, which is connected to like a little kind of thin stem. And I would just say be very careful about how much force you put right here, because I can see that breaking off pretty easily. You can see here, there, and there, it did not take much force to create cracks on this plastic. Which reminds me, I really, really wish they would have put instructions for assembling this guy in the box. Because not everything is, 100% obvious. Especially if you were kind of rushing like I was. So yeah, now we got him actually holding the joystick of his little floaty chair so he can, pilot around, do whatever he's got to do. He's got this one fist to just angrily raise in the air. And, I mean, that's really about all he does. He's easily more of a display piece than an action figure. Because despite the very high level of posability he has, he can't utilize most of it. You can't make him stand in dynamic fashion. He's just kind of suspended here. So, now he's really just meant to be some sort of a backdrop character to, your big group of baddies or something. But, I mean, tons of molded and painted detail. He's a really gorgeous piece. It's no wonder he costs so much. Like this, it's a very, very high-end figure right here. Now here's a fun little group shot for you guys. Admittedly, I was actually planning on doing a nice group shot of M.O.D.O.K along with some other comic book baddies, but then I realized I only have one comic book villain figure that I've opened so far, then one MCU figure in the form of M.O.D.O.K. The comic book one is to spare. So, would have been a pretty lacking display, so instead, I decided to have M.O.D.O.K face off against one of his recurring nemeses, and this is our 20th anniversary comic book Iron Man. So I think it makes for a good shot, technology against technology. You have the superhumanly smart M.O.D.O.K with all of his weaponry and resources at his disposal, and then a very intelligent but very mortal human utilizing technology to his finest. So I think they make for a very, very good yin and yang together. I still wish I could have done a big villain shot, but again, I haven't opened that many villains. That's just how the, case breakups and stuff have gone so far. But I have more coming, don't you fret. And this completes our look at Marvel Legends M.O.D.O.K. Now, I know this video is a little bit short, and that's because M.O.D.O.K, I mean, he doesn't do a lot, but he's a very, very cool figure nonetheless. Like I said, he makes for a better display piece than he does an action figure. And, I mean, the level of detail and everything, the mask that goes into this guy, and the posability that is there, despite a lot of it not being very useful, is still very impressive. I mean, even his base, this little thruster bit, all that rotates and articulates. The arms are fully articulated. He gets different hands. The legs fully articulate, despite the fact that all they can do is, like, kick helplessly. I mean, I guess if you're really good at balancing him, you can pull him off his little thruster and have him try to pack all his weight around. I'm sure it'd make for a funny shot. But regardless of all that, he just looks phenomenal. That gold that they use, almost like a Werther's candy gold, is just gorgeous to look at. The fire effects are really nice. The face, both faces are very, very impressive, and the paint and the surface detailing that went into them are just frankly amazing. My only complaint with this toy at all is just the fact that he doesn't come with instructions, because we saw I've already damaged my figure right out of the box, put some cracks right there in the top of his little chair or helmet thing. because they just don't tell you how to put them together. And even though I got like 90% of it right, all it took was that 10% wrong, and I realized, oh, wait a second, these are cracking. I'm doing something wrong. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. I wish they would have put something in there, just a very brief diagram or something, so you know, like what order to put, you know, what where. Other than that, I think this guy's pretty much perfect. I mean, he's everything you would want for M.O.D.O.K. I know there is a variant of him, some kind of exclusive going around. It was like Vacation M.O.D.O.K. or something. He's got like sunglasses on. That one might be a little niche for me. I don't feel it's something I need to try to track down because I'm more than happy with this. This is, you know, the infamous comic book character that we've seen in cartoons and stuff from back in the 90s. I know he had a really like sad origin story episode with Iron Man and I think like the Avengers and stuff, where you actually saw how he became M.O.D.O.K. and how he had a, you know, former love of his life that was now horrified by him and all that. So he's a bit of a tragic villain, though I gotta say that horrible things he's done makes it very hard to forgive him. But yeah, as far as the toy itself, I think it's fantastic. I think it's worth the money, even without a sale. Now, I may not have picked it up without the sale because I don't want to spend a lot of money going through the back catalog of Legends, right? I'm not that wealthy. I can't do stuff like that. But if I had been collecting for a while, I would have bought this guy full price as soon as he came out, like no questions asked. So very pleased with him. And if you haven't picked him up, I believe he's currently still on sale at Amazon. If not, you could probably maybe find him on Target's website, Walmart, I'm not sure. But he shouldn't be too hard to track down. So personally, I recommend picking him up if you don't already have him. Of course, that is just my take on M.O.D.O.K. So now I want to know what you all think of him. Do you have an interest for a toy like this? Something that's very large but very unconventional? Or is this really not for you? Like, he's just not your typical action figure. Maybe he takes up too much room, he's too expensive, or maybe you just hate his design. I mean, he's an ugly bugger, you know? Any and all feedback is always welcome in the comment section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. I thank you for joining me for this very fun look at the Marvel villain M.O.D.O.K. from Marvel Legends. And with all that said, I will see you next time.